the Credit Union Association of the Dakota, the University of Mary, the North Dakota Corn, Soybean and Grain Growers Association, and the North Dakota Ethanol Council, the Northwest Landowners Association, Touchstone Energy Cooperative, North Dakota Rural Electric Cooperatives Association, and members Minnesota Power and Great River Energy, the North Dakota chapter of Concerned Women for America, the Expressway Inn and Suites, where a good night's rest costs less, and the Peacock Alley. It's time to get started. Another hour of the Legislature Today is on the air.
This is Dale Wetzel. This is the Legislature Today radio program. We're coming to you from the Peacock Alley American Bar and Grill in downtown Bismarck, North Dakota. And the sun is out, and it's becoming a little bit warmer during the day, which we hope will spur the North Dakota Legislature to finish its work within the allotted 80 days. Day 80 falls on Friday of next week, a week from Friday. This is assuming the legislature won't work on Saturday or Sunday. And day 80 looks like maybe an outside possibility, but certainly a possibility. In the pool, I've selected 2 a.m. on Thursday, a week from Thursday. And when I say a pool, it's like $1. It's not like your NCAA office pool. But I am not optimistic that the legislature will save any significant time. I think they're going to go right up against it before they adjourn. We're going to be speaking in the first half hour to a couple of behind-the-scenes folks at the legislature. We have Ryan Frazee, who is an aide to the Senate Republican Majority Leader. His name is Rich Wardner from Dickinson. And we also have Jacob Holm, who is an aide to Representative Al Carlson, the House Republican Majority Leader from Fargo. Last week we had some Democratic aides on to talk to them about their jobs. We thought we'd also have some Republican staff folks on and discuss with them about, just have a conversation with them about their jobs. First of all, we'll talk to you mention a moment about some things that happened during the legislature today. The most interesting development was North Dakotans next November, in November of 2014, are going to have a chance to decide whether they want to get rid of the Board of Higher Education and the Chancellor. The House gave final approval today to a constitutional amendment that would replace the Board of Higher Education and the Chancellor with a 3-member Higher Education Commission. These folks would be appointed by the governor. They would serve 4-year terms, and they would be involved in the management and administration of North Dakota's 11 public colleges and universities. They would also be responsible for hiring and firing the presidents of these 11 schools. They would be like a blend of the Board of Higher Education and the Chancellor. I guess I've referred to this panel as the three-headed Chancellor. They would be removable by impeachment. They would have a 3-term limit. In other words, any one commissioner would be able to serve 12 years at most. And they will have, quote, full executive responsibility for running the higher education system. Again, this will be voted upon in November of 2014, along with another amendment, at least one other amendment that deals with abortion. So we're going to have some very interesting debates on the measures ballot in the general election of 2014. The North Dakota Senate also approved an animal cruelty bill to strengthen the state's penalties against animal cruelty. The primary feature of this bill is that it has a felony penalty for certain acts of cruelty to animals, such as breaking bones, torturing, mutilating an animal, or causing really difficult things in terms of affecting its health. The Senate also approved, in an unrelated bill, I might add, the regulation of raw milk production in amongst there is a faction of North Dakota folks, thousands if you take percentages, if you put any weight in some estimates that are made by unpasteurized milk folks. There are thousands of North Dakotans that enjoy drinking raw milk, milk that has not been pasteurized, and this bill regulates that practice and says that dairies have to essentially let the Department of Agriculture know, the State Department of Agriculture know, if they have arrangements such as this with folks. What the law is in North Dakota, it is illegal to purchase raw milk, but it's legal to buy a share of a dairy cow, which will then furnish you with raw milk, and that is the arrangement that goes on presently. And this bill that was approved in the Senate, it's going to the House tomorrow, essentially codifies this arrangement and puts in some requirements as to what these cow share contracts is what they're called, what they must contain. We're going to turn now to our guest this evening. We have Ryan Frazee, who is an aide to Senator Rich Wardner. Senator Wardner is a Republican senator from Dickinson, and he's the Senate Republican Majority Leader. We also have Jacob Holm, who is an aide to Representative Al Carlson, who is the House Republican Majority Leader. First, Mr. Holm, Representative Carlson, I think, has a reputation as someone who is, let us say, quite candid. What's he like to work for?
Al's great to work with. I've actually been with him since June. I helped did some work with him through the campaign, too, so I'm coming up on a year now. And I've always appreciated Al's leadership because it's very, like you said, he's very candid. So you know where he's going and what he wants. And he's very fun because I don't think there's anything that he's trying to hide or anything backdoor. It's here's where we're going. He has it laid out directly where he wants to go. And it's really fun interacting with him. Short at times, but very fun.
When you say his campaign, you're talking about his re-election campaign to the... Or what campaign are you talking about?
Working with his members in the House and Senate. I was with the party through the campaign cycle, so I worked for the caucuses.
Okay. Are you going to work for him? Is he running for re-election?
He'll be up. His seat's up in 2 years. My assumption is he's rerunning, but he hasn't confirmed anything with me yet, so I'm sure his wife would know far before I would.
Okay. Well, hopefully. Well, I think it's fair to say that the folks that don't like Al Carlson think he's some kind of an org. I mean, what do you get that? You see him up close. What do you think?
I think Al's a man who's very much guided by principle. He knows where he's going and where he wants to go. If there are people who are needing services, he's definitely there for him, and his caucus will help support that. And it's really hard because everybody wants or claims that they need something, but really it boils down to wants. So I think Al and his caucus is really good about dividing those things out, and you may want a certain amount, but what do you need? What can we function off? And also the element of personal responsibility. I think it's a big thing that he pushes. So guided by principles, and by no means do I think he would cut funding out from somebody's legs for a program that's essentially needed. But it matters, is it a want or is it a need? And that's what these guys try to figure out every 2 years.
Mr. Frazee, you work for Senator Wardner. What's Senator Wardner like to work for?
He's great to work for. He's much more, dare I say, not as candid as Representative Carlson, but he really has a unique leadership style. He really empowers those around him. The entire caucus, he really believes in the committees and the chairman and them doing their work. And it's a leadership style that I'm not used to, of really just empowering the rest of the people and letting them kind of manage it, and he just oversees it. It's a great leadership style. I've learned a lot getting to work for him.
I think Senator Wardner is he's fairly candid. It's just that he doesn't let you have it right between the eyes the way Representative Carlson does. Do you think that's a fair?
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned empowering others. How does he go about doing that?
Well, he really believes in the process. He believes that he is the majority leader. His job is to oversee the entire Senate. Now, he also empowers the chairs in the committees. He really lets them do their job. If they think that a bill's good, then go ahead and pass it. If they think it's not good, then, go ahead and do not pass. Obviously, keep him posted, but he really believes in them doing their job and empowering the entire caucus as a whole to be strong, because he believes that if the group's strong, then we're going to be strong as a state.
I want both of you gentlemen to tell me a bit about yourselves. Like, Mr. Frazee, where are you from originally? Where'd you go to school? Just tell me some biographical information.
Grew up kind of near Castleton, a small town called Buffalo, North Dakota, and actually went to high school with this guy right over here.
With Jacob Holm.
Yeah, it's small world. And then I went up to school at UND.
And what did you study at UND?
I'm still finishing my degree of business economics.
What do you want to do with that?
I think I'll use that degree to work in politics someday. I think we need leaders in this country who know how to balance a budget and to stimulate an economy, especially in Washington. And so I'd like to use that knowledge to further get into politics.
What do you plan to do to make a living until you get into politics?
Whatever life brings me.
Okay.
That was donate plasma, right?
Mr. Holm, where are you from originally?
Actually, I'm from the Fingal/Cuba, North Dakota area. Went to NDSU, history degree there. And I've been bouncing around in politics now for about 2 years. This is the longest I've ever been with a candidate or a group, actually, with Carlson and the Republican caucus. So I got a chance to work on both a Berg's House and Senate race. I was with Dalrymple for a while, and then I worked for the party, and then Now's caucus. So I've been kind of pinballing around politics for
So what did you do for Rick Berg and Jack Dalrymple?
I started off as an intern in Rick's House race throughout that summer, got a chance to travel around with him and put on different events, and then came on to the Senate race. And actually last spring I worked on Shane Gettle's campaign, too, out here in Bismarck. And then I was a field operative for the governor for about a month and a half before I hopped over to the work for the caucuses last cycle.
When you say field operative for the governor, what did that entail?
I say that sounds kind of dirty, doesn't field operative?
It sounds like you're with the CIA or something.
Well, I like to think I was, but nearly not that cool. Worked on the eastern part of the state, helping to organize parades and public events, those types of things. Would help travel with Jack and Betsy only occasionally, but helping to coordinate Jamestown and kind of west to the Red River Valley, or the east, to the Red River Valley.
You're wearing a pullover that says NDSU Blue Key. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, real quick. Blue Key is a honor fraternity based out of NDSU, and it's based on academics and service. So the big principle of it is serving I live is our motto. So it's volunteering and giving back, whether it's to the university or to the community. So it's a group of 35 at NDSU who do what they can for those around them.
What do you expect to do with your education?
The history degree is a great degree to do not much with. So I think I'd like to stay in North Dakota, maybe work in politics or slide over to the private sector. I think the opportunity we have out west with the oil industry is really fascinating. My parents farm, and I won't be going back to that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. See where it takes me.
What do you enjoy about what you're doing?
It's policy, and it's policy for people. People always ask me if I want to go out to Washington and work in the Hill. And I say I don't have a desire to do that because you actually see things come to fruition in North Dakota. Every bill gets a day. Every bill gets a day in court, so to speak. Whether you're a citizen or a legislator, it may pass or it may die, but you know why, and you actually see the policies passed affect people. And I really enjoy working with people I do because, like I said, I think they're very principled. I think they want to give back, but it's almost to a parent. You can easily give something to your child when they want, or you can teach them the lessons of the personal responsibility and give when you can and sustainably. And I absolutely love the principles that the people I work for, the Republican caucus, stands for. And I really, born and bred in North Dakota, 5 generations, so I love it.
Mr. Frazee, what do you like about your job?
I love having a hand in it, getting to work with the leader and with the Republican caucus as a whole. Getting to pass laws that benefit my fellow citizens in North Dakota that we have to live with too, that we're a citizens legislature. And one of my favorite things is getting to see them come full circle, obviously. But we're doing a lot of good things to help the state. Contrary to what the media may say today or tomorrow, at the end of the day, we're going to do a lot of things that are going to benefit the citizens in western North Dakota and eastern North Dakota, all across this great state. And getting to have a hand in that and assist and aid in that, it's an honor to serve the state.
What do you two gentlemen not like about your job? What do you find frustrating about it, if anything?
I think it's hard at times because, the process is, at the end of the day, the policy is passed. That may come down to day 7 to 8, may start at day 2. When they sent money right away to western North Dakota. But it's frustrating to me that people will come in and see something happen they don't agree with and assume that is done. The process is there. So the education isn't fully there how the process works. So it's really hard sometimes trying to work with people who want something done right now, but it's a process. And even the laws that they enact by next week won't become law until later on this summer. So it can be frustrating at times, just reassuring that the product will be delivered. It's just how it works, and we're not trying to short or cheat anybody.
Exactly.
It's the process.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, I think we live in an instant society. I think everyone wants what we're working on right now. They just want things passed. Even my dad texts me almost daily, when are you going to get property tax passed? And I try to explain to it's a process. It takes a long time. We have to work everything out, figure out where it's all going to fall. We do it in 80 days, which is incredibly impressive, but it does take those 80 days to get everything laid out. And so sometimes it can be challenging for those people who want it instantly.
I guess I was kind of leading up to this. How do you explain the legislature to people? Because, I'm familiar with the process and how things change from day to day, and it is rather difficult to explain to people the internal logic of the legislature, and I want to know how you two gentlemen try to do that.
On the spot.
Well, it's a challenge. I mean, like you said, when you're inside it, you see that a bill can go to conference committee, get voted up on the floor. Well, the committee fails, it goes back down. You know, it's constantly changing. And for those who think it's a solid process that, like I said, they want it instantly, that provides a challenge. Just explaining the process, I mean, we really have a unique process in North Dakota. The fact that we are a citizens legislature and we return after 80 days, we live with the laws we pass, I think that, first off, impresses people. But also, like you said, the internal process, you got to sit down with them and kind of explain how it works, that every bill gets a hearing, both in the House and the Senate, and they'll both be visited. And it's kind of like a three-quarter system in the hockey. You've heard it. You have the first quarter in the House, second quarter in the Senate, and third quarters with the conference committees.
I think you might describe it as just a big decision any family has to take on. You know, possibly the dad's on this side of the issue and the mom's on this side, but we have to make the decision whether it's for the family, for the budget, for the kid. And it can be the Democrat, Republican, House, Senate. I mean, you choose the two entities you're talking here. And until you can actually come to a decision and buy that car or choose your student's school or whatever it may be, both sides need to come to agreement. And that means a compromise. That means give and take. And you won't have that day one. When you're building your family's budget, you can't decide what to cut right away or what car to buy right away. So you have to give a little bit of take, and you have to wait on it. And sometimes you get mad, have to walk away from the table and come back to it. But at the end of the day, a decision will be made best for the family or for the state. It just takes some time to get there. Yep. So it's not a bad process that's slow. It's designed that way to help protect us as citizens.
What is the role of what do lobbyists play in this role? I mean, in this scenario, what is the role of lobbyists that you have observed?
I think lobbyists get a bad name. I think there's a bad connotation out there that they're negative, that they're trying to push us in these dark rooms. You know, they just have this bad misinformation, I would say, out there. In my opinion, lobbyists provide information. I mean, we have 80 days to cover a whole spectrum of bills, from anything from raw milk to property taxes. I mean, it's amazing the things we cover in this short period of time. We can't know it all. And so we rely on them to provide us information, to point out, if a word's wrong in a bill or anything like that. It's very beneficial for us. So in my opinion, I see them as resources.
Yeah, I think Ryan's absolutely right. And sticking with my analogy, I'd say for the family buying that car, building the budget, it'd be like your financial advisor or your car salesman. You know, with the car salesman, they may seem a little pushy or maybe want, we all know they want a specific thing, but they provide you with options. They provide you with statistics where you can actually make a good, solid judgment. So I think when we keep saying North Dakota is unique, that's not just a coin phrase we like to use. I mean, it's true, and I think they're there to help in a lot of situations.
Do you think that the legislators are skeptical enough of the advice that lobbyists provide? I mean, I understand what your gentleman's points are, but at the same time, these are folks who are getting paid to push an agenda. And do you think that the legislators take that fact into account sufficiently when listening to the advice that they're giving?
I think they know what they want at the end of the day. You know, I think they recognize that, like Jake said, they are going to get pushed, but they know what they want to get out of it. And at the end of the day, they're going to make the decisions. And I think they can kind of see through that push they're giving and take the information that be.
Yeah. Well, I think they absolutely know. And, the thing about elected a system is every 4 years as citizens we get a choice. Exactly. If we see our elected representative, senator, whoever it may be, is maybe not making the decisions based on the way we want them to, we get a glorious chance every 4 years to say, thank you for your service, we want to continue with you, or thank you for your service, time to go a different direction.
Exactly.
Are either of you involved in the political end? And I guess what I mean is, are you looking at things that the Democrats do and thinking, boy, this is something that we can use against this person or that person in the next election?
I think it's something all of us probably in every party have an eye on all the time. Ryan and I, working in the Capitol and the majority leader's offices, we are state employees. So obviously there's that clear divide of we're here for state work, and that's our functioning role. But I think every elected official and everybody who is a proud supporter of the Republican and or Democrat Party has a very watchful eye on policies taking place. We've seen it play out in different political emails and Facebook page to the media. So personally, we definitely have the eye on it. But obviously in our professional career, the 8 to 5, we're in the desk as a state employee. So it's hard at times. We'd like to have that opportunity, but that's not what our role is here.
Having Jacob, both him and I working on the past campaign cycle, I think we have that filter. I think we have that lens. I mean, you don't approach it that way, but you see it that way. But like Jacob said, you're professional in your 8 to 5 job. You know what your role is there. And maybe when you come down to the Peacock Alley here and have a beer, then you can talk about
what were your expectations of this job coming in? And how is the reality squared with that?
I really wanted to, as strange as it sounds, I wanted to learn policy. Looking at, enjoying politics, we all have our talking points, but we get about surface deep on the issues. And actually being in this role, I've had a great chance to work with Legislative Council and the different staffers and legislators to really dive into property tax. Not that just we need property tax relief, but when you say that and reform, where does it go? What does it translate? It sounds great in Bismarck and on the floor. What does that mean for Benson County? What does that mean for Barnes County? What does it mean for Cuba, North Dakota? What does that actually translate to between the legislators and the policymakers to the actual individual, Joe Schmo citizen, trying to make their way? And that's been really fun to me, is actually build that connection and that understanding of how it transcends.
Yeah, well said. I mean, unique about our role is that we don't just work for the leader, we work for a caucus as a whole. So I get to work with 33 different senators from all across the state, and they all bring such a different perspective about the state from all different corners of the state. I think learning knowledge from them, getting to know them is very beneficial, but like Jacob said, getting to know the process and getting to know the policy. The things that I've been able to learn in these past 80 days, 70-some days that we've gone, better than any education I've had. I know more about tax policy and property taxes and mill levies than the average college student.
I care to admit.
I mean, does this make people run away from you at parties or?
Yeah. Let's be honest. As if they didn't already.
Speak for yourself.
What is your day? I want both of you to describe what's your day like. You come into the Capitol in the morning. What time do you get there, and what is your day like?
Well, originally our roles are pretty similar. Mine has taken a different turn than Ryan's. I'm usually there about 6:45, 7:15, somewhere in the morning, and I usually leave about 6. And I'm in charge right now of scheduling all the conference committees. So we have about 135 bills that went to conference committee. I have a schedule for all 141 senators and representatives, along with the 26 clerks, legal interns, and the legislative hearing rooms. So my day now, it used to be media, similar to what Ryan's was. Mine is solidly based on conference committees now, getting them back in, when are the amendments coming, when is it going to the floor, and just trying to help get that process going, because we're coming to a screeching halt soon, and we still have about 80 bills we got to move, and sometimes the time doesn't allow for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility, but we love it. I get there around 7:30 in the morning and probably leave 5:30. I have a little less schedule than he does, but my role is more media-based and also then assisting the caucus as a whole. As I said, it's not just for Rich, but it's for all 33 members. And I think, whether they bring projects or want me to decipher a bill or track legislation, I mean, there's just a variety of things that we do every day. And I think that's what makes the job appealing to me. It's consistent enough, but it also provides such a variety. Every day is different. I love it.
So, when do you think the session is going to end?
I have my bet on Tuesday.
Tuesday, what time?
I think noon.
Noon? Tuesday
that's pretty
at
optimistic.
Noon. Okay, that's Ryan Frazee,
yes.
Tuesday at noon. Okay.
Put $1 down.
I have no money on it, but I'll put sometime Wednesday evening.
Wednesday night.
You're probably right.
All right. What time Wednesday night about?
Let's go. I'm hopeful. Let's go at 8.
8 p.m.
And what was yours again?
Mine is Thursday at 2 a.m.
Oh, boy, that'd be a late night.
Yep. Believe me, it's happened before. We've been speaking to Ryan Frazee. He's a aide to Senator Rich Wardner, who is the Republican Majority Leader from Dickinson. And we also have been speaking to Jacob Holm, who is an aide to Representative Al Carlson, who is the Republican House Majority Leader from Fargo. And up next, we will have a discussion of the state employee pay and pension package with Pam Sharp, the state budget director, and Stuart Savocal, who is director of the North Dakota Public Employees Association.
We want to